Okay, this is chapter 7, problem 12. This is what I gave you in week 2. Let's work on this by following steps A through E in the question. And I'll just show you how I'll do this. Notice that in this sheet, the earnings before interest and taxes has been calculated in time period 1. See, EBIT in year 1 is 28,000. It's got a growth rate of 3%. So the spreadsheet already embedded that in the mix for you, which is nice. And what we're going to do is add a line. So what we need to do is we need to calculate taxes. Okay. So we'll add taxes here. The tax rate is 38%, right? From the table. Now there's a couple ways you could do this. You could of course just fill in the tax rate by saying, okay, set the taxes equal to right, EBIT, right, times, you could do it by saying, well, it's times 0.38, right? And, oops, gosh, what's going on with this? There it goes. Okay, why is there a circular reference here? That's a little strange. Must be way that, let's double check what I wrote. C23 times 0.38. Oh, this is because B15 is 28,000. I'm not sure why I did that. That's a little weird. Anyway, so 10,640 is taxes in that first year. Now you could do that, but if you wanted to make your spreadsheet a little bit flexible so that you could alter this input variable, so you could say maybe the tax rate's really 40%, right? So what I would do is actually set this like this. I'd say, so let's make C23, that's the $28,000 in cell C23, and let's multiply that by the 0.38 that's sitting in B16. See, it's sitting in B16. Now I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste this formula. So what I want to do is up here in the formula function box, I want to freeze my target so that the cell B16 stays constant. To do that, you put a $sign at the B. You can put a $sign at the 16. So that forces the computer, when I load the spreadsheet paste function in place, right? That forces the computer to maintain in that formula the cell B16. So then I'm just going to drag across. This is like a quick copy paste job, right? So I'm going to go all the way across to the end. And now I've got all my taxes in this. Now we got to do, let's see, earnings before interest and taxes after taxes. So we need that. This is the relevant cash flow for our purposes, right? With EBIT, what we're going to do. So in this case, you take the EBIT and pull off the taxes, right? So here's a function. Go up to C23, subtract C24. Right, so there's my earnings when I put taxes in play, and I don't have to do anything with this particular formula. It's going to be dynamic as I spread out to all the columns. Now I have my taxes. Okay, so then finally, what I need, let's put a let's put a top border there, right? That's a little bit of a bottom line. So now what I need is the after-tax cash flow. Just put that in place. So the after-tax cash flow is equal to the EBIT, right, after taxes, plus annual depreciation, that is in C22. So add those together, and now I see 67,360. Again, I can just copy and paste. So again, I'll use the drag method. Okay, so there's my after-tax cash flow, except in time period 0, I have an outflow, right? So this is cell CB21, right? times -1, since it's an outflow. Okay, so there's my set of flows, right? Now the easy part now is the investments, internal rate of return, net present value stuff, right? So part B is let's do the net present value at a discount rate of 10%. Okay, so here I can say equals NPV. I'm going to use the NPV function. So it has a rate and then a sequence of values, right? So the rate is indicated in the question to be 10%, and that is in cell B18, right? So I'm just going to focus my attention on the discount rate, B18. The formula says to insert a comma. And then I've got to insert my values. So I got that one, comma, and the next one. Just go right through the cash flow list and insert each value into the NPV function. All right, so I'm just pointing to the cell and hitting my comma key. And what's kind of handy in this version, now I'm using a Mac, but I think it definitely does this in the Microsoft version, the Windows version. You can see when you're tracing through, when you're tracing through and looking at, let's say, G26 in my formula, the color, sort of purple color, well, I guess it's like a lighter purple, right? It just indicates that G26 can be quickly located, kind of by letting your eyes scan across those targets. So that's the NPV function. Now what I do is I hit that, and I have an NPV generated there from the spreadsheet. Okay, so that would answer point B. Now the internal rate of return is the function equals IRR. Right, so we'll pick that function. Now this one has me identifying what's called the values, right? And so what I do is I come up to the string of cash flows and I just cause the marquee to copy across there. So see, inside the function it's saying, oh, we're talking about the values in the range of cells from B26 through L26, okay? And then what we do, we insert, if we want to, you can insert a guess. We won't need to worry about a guess because this is a pretty small set of numbers. And so there I have an 11% internal rate of return, right? Internal rate of return. Let's see, it's got an 11% rate of return and a 10% discount rate. So that coincides, right, with the fact that I've got a positive net present value. I want to double check B18. I'm just going to double check B20, B18, B20%. Okay, interesting. Okay, that worked right. So let's see, I went through B26, C26, D. Did I skip one? I'm just double checking. So in essence, let's see, D26 is that sort of maroon color, right? So it went blue, green, I guess purple, maroon, green, right? F, G, H, I, J, K, and L. See, so that's a way to note, okay, I've got 11 values, and that lines up with the way the spreadsheet is built, right? So there's my net present value. Now let's look up here. So I've got points B and C. Now question D asks, how does the internal rate of return change if the discount rate equals 20%? So that's pretty straightforward, right? We should say it doesn't change, right? It doesn't change. The reason is the IRR is independent of the discount rate. Right, that way. Right, it's dependent on internal cash flows of the project itself. Right. It's independent of the discount rate. And what would happen? How does the internal rate of return change if the growth rate in EBIT is 8%? right? It's 8 growth rate and EBIT. Now, looking at the spreadsheet, come down here. In year one, earnings before interest and taxes was 28,000. So that's just targeting. See how it says it's pointing to B15. Now over here, I've got in this function the 28,000, right, from the first column, or the time period 1 column, okay? And then it's raised at the rate of 1 plus B17. See, B17 is the 3% growth rate. So instead of 3, let's insert an 8% growth rate. And with an 8% growth rate in earnings before interest and taxes, you see the NPV has risen, right? So that's all we had to do there to answer that question, right? We can see how does it change, right? Increases to 35,394. And now you see a little bit higher internal rate of return, right? A little bit higher because of the growth rate in earnings. So that's problem 12 of the chapter 7, which is this week's problem. And it's going to now go up onto Blackboard for you guys, all right? So you can review this to check your own work.